How good is the Odyssey? Coming up next. The Movie Review Show, welcome back. We got the Odyssey this week. A movie so nice, you have to see it twice. Maybe. But I did see it twice. I was also on vacation, so we had a 1 week gap, but I did want to make sure I saw this movie multiple times to get a good grasp on it. But first, we do have movie news to talk about. A lot happened in the past 2 weeks. We got our first teaser for the Batman Part 2. Just a very small screen test of Batman, but came with the unfortunate news that the movie has once again been pushed back to February 18th, 2028. Not a huge pushback, but a pushback nonetheless. And it was done in order to make room for J.J. Abrams' new movie, The Great Beyond, which has moved into what was the Batman Part 2's time slot in 2027. J.J. Abrams, all that guy knows how to do is fuck a sequel. We're not a music review show, but if we were, we would say that Gracie Abrams also put out another album, and fucking up sequels runs in the family, apparently. Again, we're not a music review show, but if we were, I would also mention that Charlie XCX's new album, Music, Fashion, Film, came out, which features Martin Scorsese on the cover, and has David Cronenberg featured on the last track of the album. But I mainly want to talk about this because there's an album film. It's posted on YouTube. I got to see it in theaters, pretty cool. But David Cronenberg has a speech near the end of that film about art and movie making that I think is so beautiful and wonderful and is an absolute must-see. Go watch that video. Go watch the 4 minutes of that video at least. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful speech there from David Cronenberg, one of our most legendary horror directors. But the biggest news that happened throughout the past couple weeks is just a bunch of MCU news. Our first real trailer for Avengers Doomsday. Not a perfect trailer. Subpar for Marvel standards. They've had some knockout trailers in the past. This one was okay, at least for me. It's not doing very much other than quick shots of all our heroes that are going to be featured in the movie and a Thor monologue talking about how scary Doom is. But even so, there are parts of that trailer that I think are really fucking cool. Mystique turning into Yelena and fighting. That short snippet looked awesome to me. A lot of people have been clowning on Shang-Chi versus Gambit. For me, that's a match made in heaven. That seems like that's going to be awesome. Even in all my skepticism of recent MCU movies, I'm still excited for this one. There's just no way to get me off of that hype. After that was San Diego Comic-Con, where we got even more Marvel hype. They revealed a second trailer that was much more Doom-centric and apparently way more awesome. The success of this movie centers entirely on whether Doom is an awesome character. And from what I understand of this trailer, seems to be an absolute monster. He's raising Sentinels from the ground. He's jumping in, doing full hardcore superhero landings. There's some leaked audio. There's some leaked visuals. God forbid, you know, I dabbled in them. The voice that Robert Downey Jr. is doing for Doom seems pretty on point for me. So they need to release that one. I really want to see it in its full HD glory. Second big news is Ryan Gosling announced as Ghost Rider following years of speculation. And for a while, Marvel has been teasing Midnight Suns. So hopefully this is the kickoff for that, because that is a really cool group to get into a movie. Everyone is up in arms because this movie is going to be directed by Sean Levy. I don't give a fuck. And I think a lot of you need to take advice and look at the path of Sean Levy. This guy's been working since 1986 in Hollywood. Go on his Wikipedia page. Not a single controversy section. This guy's been married. He's got kids. You don't know anything else about him. He puts out profitable movies, and that's sometimes all you got to do. There's only like a few people in this world who can have the talent to be an asshole. Sean Levy, he's not one of them, and therefore seems to be a guy that people like working with. Sometimes that's all you need. People out there, do that. Stop acting like an asshole. Be a little nicer. Things might work out better for you. Be like Sean Levy. Everyone can clown on you on Twitter for being nice, but guess what? You get to make movies. Other people don't. The biggest news, in my opinion, from the Comic-Con panel was David Johnson announced as the new Black Panther in Black Panther 3. After sleeping on this news, I was more excited, like buzzing with excitement. I've been a fan of Dave Johnson for a few years now and have watched him move up the ranks through HBO shows to Hulu comedies to Alien Romulus and The Long Walk, and he just crushes it every time, and I am just ecstatic for this. This feels like old school Marvel casting, where it is someone who is just working their way up through movies and then they get stamped for stardom by the MCU. And the last one this felt like is Chadwick Boseman, honestly, because more recently it has been more stunt castings. Ryan Gosling, kind of stunt casting. Robert Downey Jr. coming back, Harry Styles, Charlize Theron popping in. Like, those are all more established people who are just being thrown in because of their name, where this feels like this is this guy's final big break. He's worked his way up through this, and I am just over the moon for this casting. And also, absolutely not hard to envision this. If you've seen The Long Walk, David Johnson is shredded to all hell. It's absolutely insane. And some of the reactions I've been seeing to David Johnson as Black Panther or Avengers Doomsday is, how is this going to work? It makes no sense. T'Challa was a baby in Black Panther 2. How is he going to be a full-grown person? How do all these people interact in Avengers Doomsday? And if you're questioning that, maybe take a step back and realize it's not for you anymore. The Odyssey, directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan, based on Homer's Odyssey, starring Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Himesh Patel, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron, Samantha Morton, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Corey Hawkins, John Leguizamo, Elliot Page, Benny Safdie, many more. Synopsis. After the Trojan War, Odysseus faces a dangerous voyage back to Ithaca, meeting creatures like the Cyclops, Sirens, and Calypso along the way. The movie starts slowly for me, but it does a good job of setting the stage at that first feast. You learn that Odysseus is gone, Penelope's suitors have overrun Ithaca, Telemachus is a bit of a bitch, but my first dislike of the movie does come in those first few minutes, where I never understand the relationship between Penelope and Telemachus. She's very motherly towards him, but also seems to loathe him and his desire to overtake the throne, and his overlooking the fact that she has been on the throne this entire time. I really wish the movie dove deeper into Penelope's ruling of Ithaca beyond the two jabs that she throws at Telemachus. After that, we get Odysseus, and we're into the real action of the movie. Start with bits of the Battle of Troy. You're inside the Trojan horse. The horse is designed very beautifully. The battle sequence at Troy, very impressive. You get the Cyclops. I love that that was done practically. Very cool sequence. You get the Lastrygonians, again, done practically, and I think is very cool. I wish we got more of the practical effects they did there with the very large actors compared to the shorter actors they put in to do the forced perspective. I thought that looked really awesome, but it's really only a few short shots that you get showing the contrast of sizes between those characters. I wish we got some more of that. It's very well done. Then we're on to Cersei's Island, my favorite part of the movie. Both times I watched this thing, it stuck out to me as my favorite part. The effects of Cersei turning the men into pigs is so spectacular. Nolan doing basically Cronenberg-style horror and done masterfully. Samantha Morton is so great throughout that entire sequence as well. And I'm going to get into this a little more later, but I think all the females in this movie have much more interesting stories to tell than Odysseus or Telemachus. Then we go to the underworld. Again, very well done. I think conceptually that is very cool. Great performance from Elliot Page. I think Benny Safdie is pretty great in that part as well. Charybdis, Scylla, Sirens, that's all great. The Sun God Island, that's when you're starting to wind down on Odysseus' adventure. Then we get to Calypso's Island, which is another nitpick I have, where Odysseus' relationship with Calypso is a bit confusing to me. I believe in the poem, Calypso is truly holding Odysseus against his will, force-feeding him the flowers. Here, it seems that Calypso is very much aiding Odysseus, like wants him to get back home. And he isn't trapped by her, but then he is blaming her for trapping him, but he's shoving his face with her flower. I don't like when a movie is 3 hours long, and there's parts that are vague to me. That seems like a waste of screen time. Finally, we're back to Ithaca. We're into our third act. Odysseus gets his Oppenheimer monologue, which is where the movie not fully loses me, but it's a part I dislike a lot. Essentially, the Trojan horse is the stand-in for the atomic bomb. And Odysseus now realizes that he's fucked the entire world up and that men and the relationship between men will never be the same again. I think this is much less effective in this movie than it is in Oppenheimer. And I think Odysseus is just a less effective character than Oppenheimer. Because Odysseus, at the end of the day, he's a warrior. He likes to fucking kill people, whether he feels bad about it afterwards or not. He did a lot of killing. And it's almost like American Sniper, where you're supposed to feel empathetic towards Chris Kyle because he feels bad now. I don't give a fuck, man. You killed all those people. I don't feel bad for you. I'm not empathetic towards you because 20 years after the fact, you feel a little bad about it. And also, after the Battle of Troy, on his way back home, he stopped off places, he raped and pillaged some more. He obviously didn't feel that fucking bad about it. So when he comes back and says, I did, ayahuasca for 7 years and went on a journey, I'm sorry, I'm just not that empathetic about it. The Athena reveal during that monologue, I do quite enjoy. I think having Athena presenting herself to Odysseus as a manifestation of his guilt, as a woman that was unjustly killed during the Battle of Troy, I think is a really great concept and is something I really liked about the movie. The final battle sequence is solid. I'm not in love with it. I kind of wish the movie ended right as he strung his bow. I think that would have been fun, but it would have taken away from the Corey Hawkins death scene, which is really great. The technical achievement of this movie is very hard to look past, but the story never gripped me as much as I would have liked. The performances are good. I think there's too many A-listers, and it takes away from the storytelling when every minute is some crazy, recognizable actor. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland. I never was fully bought into any of those characters. None of those performances are bad. I just was never fully invested into them. Himesh Patel and Robert Pattinson, I really enjoyed both those characters, though. Robert Pattinson, obviously on an absolute tear right now. Zendaya has such a strong presence to her that is only in the movie occasionally, but is just so believable as a Greek god. I don't know how she has such an immense screen presence, but it's extremely impressive. Same with Lupita Nyong'o. I thought her moments were she just has a way of gripping the screen. And then obviously, as I said before, Samantha Morton, my favorite part of the entire film. And like I was saying, the females in the story have all these very interesting backstories and things to tell. Like Penelope, the struggle she's having ruling Ithaca. You get those small moments where she's telling off Telemachus, but then she's basically just reduced to, I wish Odysseus was here. Cersei, having this wonderful monologue about how the men are evil, whether or not they feel like they are or not. They are killing and they're horrible people. I think that's interesting. I think they have a really great line there when she's turning them back into men and saying, put your disguises back on, although they repeat it 100 times to make sure you hear that great line. Say it once. You don't need to say it 100 times. Helena Troy, I think, again, is very interesting. I just wish all of those characters got more to do. I wonder if there's a version of this movie where Odysseus is basically the villain, a Doom Part 3 type situation, and if that would be more interesting. And you just see Odysseus as a very boisterous character that he is, proud of everything he's done, and you as an audience can decide how fucked up he is or not. The all IMAX is very cool, but I found myself missing the expansion, which I thought I would never think, but there's something about when a movie expands that lets you know that something amazing is about to happen that I found myself missing, oddly. And doing the entire movie in all IMAX took away from some of the camera work. I think IMAX film can only run for 3 minutes at a time. There are some sudden cuts throughout this. It's not super noticeable, but it's noticeable enough. It's all steady shots or crane shots. There's no very inventive camera work. I've said this before. I will reiterate it. I absolutely despise the format punch card. I hate that we are moving into a world where we can be format shaming people. My first watch of this movie was in regular ass digital, and I felt like I was not seeing it correctly. And then I realized that is so fucking dumb. I don't advocate that people watch movies on their phones, but I'm someone who grew up in a place that the closest theater was like 30 minutes away. I watch a lot of shit on my phone. I think a movie should hit just as hard whether you watch it on your goddamn iPod Touch or in the biggest theater you can find. A movie should not be defined by the way you're able to watch it. A good movie should be a good movie regardless. Being told that you have to see this in IMAX 70mm or you're not getting the true experience is fucking stupid. And I saw it in IMAX 70mm, and I'll tell you what, hit the exact same as when I saw it on digital. And it really makes me wonder if this movie was made just for the spectacle of being the first movie made entirely in IMAX, or because they actually wanted to tell a story. It's a very impressive movie for many reasons. I do wonder what people would actually rate it if this was directed by like Michael Bay rather than Christopher Nolan. For me, it's a 4 out of 5. There's things I really like, but I do think that it drags at points. Christopher Nolan can't make a bad movie, obviously, but this one just is not my favorite of his. I don't think it's his best. I think it's worth seeing. I think it's a bit too long. I think it doesn't utilize its very long runtime as effectively as I would hope. I watched a lot of other movies in my time off as well. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My first time seeing it all the way through. Very fun movie. Maybe just the most fun vibes movie ever. Was the world better when Matthew Broderick ran it? Jeffrey Johnson has an award-worthy performance. Sadly. It's a damn shame. You don't need to go to the Wikipedia. It's not worth it. Iron Man, I rewatched. I thought, should I do a full MCU rewatch? I got halfway through The Incredible Hulk, and I said, I'm not going to do it. But Iron Man still holds up. Jeff Bridges is what really stuck out to me. I'm kind of similar to Jeffrey Johnson in Ferris Bueller's, unfortunately. Iron Man does not work if Jeff Bridges is not absolutely crushing it. And we should give him more credit. Tony Stark gets all the credit. Robert Downey Jr. gets to come back as Dr. Doom. All the credit. We need to give more credit to Jeff Bridges. I hate to say it, but Jurassic Park, first time watch. Steven Spielberg, he's that guy. No one captures childlike wonderment like Steven Spielberg. It is magical. The Prestige, I liked, but I disliked the end. I don't like when a movie presents itself as very grounded and then it's switched to something crazy supernatural at the end. The rest of the movie I like, but the ending, you just can clone now? What the fuck? Tenet, I did not understand a single thing about, but I think that makes it perfect sci-fi. The craftsmanship and the thoughtfulness that went into that entire movie is so astonishing. And I like when things are confusing, but that the filmmaker knows what they're doing. And it's inviting you as a viewer to try to understand what they have going on. It is a fully realized concept and masterfully executed. And it is begging to be rewatched and understood. And I think that makes perfect science fiction. Lastly, I watched Weapons, which I lowered from my original 4.5, but I still really like. Amy Madigan is. She earned that award. She has to go from menacing to funny to overly pleasant to downright horror movie scary. And she does it all, and it is extremely impressive. And watching this, I did realize that Austin Abrams, he's got the juice. And I'm ready for Resident Evil. Fuck it, I'm ready for Whale Fall even. Coming up next week, maybe our biggest show of the whole year, Spider-Man Brand New Day. This movie means a lot to me. And I have extremely high hopes for it. I am immensely excited. I'm seeing it 2 days back to back. And nothing will take that excitement away from me. And we will talk about it next week. But until then, thank you so much for joining the Movie Review Show. I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.